Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Jackson. I'm the Director of Educational Facilities, and we're going to get started, keeping on time. And thank you for coming. This is a community meeting updating our Patrick Henry project. I think some of you I do recall seeing. Might not have your names, but I do recall you in some of our earlier meetings. As we've done these in the past, we typically bring in our designer, which in this case we have Mosley and Bill Brown. And we have Keller, and which is Dave Tremblay. And we also have Brailsford and Dunleavy, which we do have several here, starting with Kevin Pickens. And obviously, we have two other members here, Mike Quadrino and Daisy Brenman, yes, are here as well. And they're here to help with any questions we may have on this project. It's been going on for, I guess, roughly a year. If you live in the neighborhood, you know, we started last summer, and as you can see, we're inching our way up there. Our goal, obviously, next year will be in this building next December. And then there's a phase 3, which they'll go over as well, that works more on the outside of the building. But our goal today is just to bring you up to date, given a small presentation from Brailsford and Dunleavy. And then we kind of open it up with Q&A for anyone that has questions. And then we'll close out because we're going to have other meetings. This is ongoing for us as we proceed in this project. So with given next steps here, I'm going to introduce Kevin Pickens with Brailsford and Dunleavy, and he's going to walk you through a presentation.
Thank you, Richard. As he said, my name is Kevin Pickens. I'm project manager at Brailsford and Dunleavy, working on the school here. So basically, Richard did a great introduction. We're going to go through just where we were with approvals, where we've come since last time we met with the approvals. We'll hand it over, go over a couple just items of progress, and then transition with David Tremblay afterwards, and he'll go through a lot of the photos, and we have a couple aerials and as well as a video for you. We have a time-lapse camera going on, taking photos approximately every couple minutes, and I'll show the progress as the project continues. So since last time we've come, this is just a summary of where we were before. This is things that had been already completed since last time we met. But so we had the initial site contract with Keller, basically giving them the authority to start the construction work. Then approvals with a final site plan. Did I go 2 slides ahead? I'm sorry. Yeah, the early final site plan. It sounds funny when you say early final because there's a couple finals until you actually get to the true final. But this is a site approval of everything outside the building, allowing us to basically start submitting on some of the foundation grades. The remaining school construction contract was signed with Keller and ACPS and RPCA at the summer 2017, last summer. The foundation to grade was a segue off of the initial site plan, and that allowed us to start construction of the building before we actually come out of the ground, and just basically keep things moving along as approvals continued. So since last time we met, this is the progress in the approvals that we've made. The full final site plan has been approved, so that's everything outside the building, any of the playgrounds, fields, site lighting, all of that. Have been reviewed by the city and utilities, and they've come back and given their blessing. The building permit, this is right after that. Once we have the full final site approved, then we can submit with the building permit, and that was a quick process since we had advanced reviews, a couple rounds of that, so everyone was already familiar with all the drawings, so it was really just responding to previous comments and doing the official submission. So we got that at beginning of January, and then throughout the whole process, there's other points where we'll touch base with the city. Mock-ups, they'll have to come and approve the brick in place, as well as utilities. They'll, throughout the whole progress, Dominion will come out and take a look at utilities, as well as American Virginia Water and Comcast and such. The anticipated building completion, as Richard mentioned, is December 2018. We will have a move-in over that period from when they complete throughout December, moving into all the FF&E, all the furniture, fixtures, all the things inside the building that make it a school. They'll be moved in, and come January, the school will open. It's both the school and the rec center at the same time. And then while that process is going on, we're going to, shift from everyone moving and living in the school, the new school, to this will be the building that will be coming down for the future fields. Just some project ongoing efforts, concrete slab and foundations. There's going to be occasional late night work. I wouldn't say night, late evening work when you start a concrete pour. It's a long process. So to do all the finishing and the area require, we have permits that allow us to work past the typical work hours, and it doesn't allow us any loud noises, just allows them to finish the work they started so that they can continue on. The masonry interior and structural masonry is continuing on. Steel framing, as you could probably see from the road or the parking lot, is up there, and decking is being placed onto that. This shot is where the steel framing is, but not quite any decking to it yet. As well as the masonry goes up, the electricians and mechanical contractors are putting all their systems in the building. Also, there was, just to keep you on going efforts, there's been an observation of a citizen on 2 separate dates, and it was inspected by the fire department of some cloudy water in Holmes Run. The project team here met with TNES as well as the fire marshal, fire department, and made sure that we were taking every measure that we were not the contributing cause to that, and instituted some additional measures just to, safeguard that we were, above in compliance. Some other ongoing efforts is as we have different trades come onto the project, it often happens that they're not quite used to even though they've gone through the orientation, that they're not quite used to where to park, but we are strictly enforcing the DSUP condition where there's not to be any construction parking in the neighborhood. We've received approval from TNES to post signs, and the little red line right here will show what is going to be posted on the neighborhood streets around the project to have that second level enforcement. Everyone comes and knows the rules, but also having it right where they're parking, and us with Keller helping out, just really enforcing that. Just to give you just to go over the overview of where we've come, and obviously this project is broken up to 3 phases that basically the first phase is now complete, but that was going behind the building here. There used to be a tennis court up there with a big mound that was leveled out, and all the topsoil was stripped, and building pad was prepped, and that allowed us to get ready for phase 2, which is actually the new building construction. That is happening from fall 2017. We started on the foundations and site work earlier, moved into actually steel construction, and the rest of that's ongoing. And the existing school and recreation center will be available throughout. This coming summer, there's some activities going to be happening in the parking lot that will close off the parking lot over to this way. Actually, I think it's behind me. But any access to there will be a complete perimeter around the building, so you can exit out any of the emergency egresses and access all the building. It'll be available, throughout the whole process. And just to reiterate, the rec and school will be anticipated to open January 2019. At that point, once the new school is open, we will then, turn this area into the construction site. Fence will go up around the whole perimeter, making sure that it's a secure site so no kids can wander in and it's safe for them. That will start right after the phase 2 completion, and about a 4 or 5 month process. Come probably end of April, this will all be demoed, and maybe the haul off of the construction debris will still be going on. And obviously then right after that, once that happens, the Rest of the construction of the playgrounds, the fields, the site sidewalks, and all of that will be ongoing, and looking to turn that over, anticipated in September 2019. And at this point, we're going to shift over to David Tremley with Keller Construction to give us an update on where we are with the progress, go into some photos and some slideshows.
All right, good evening. Some of you recognize a lot of the faces. I've been at some of the previous community meetings telling you about the project. So tonight's easy for me because I'm just going to show you pictures and then kind of explain what we've done. So we're going to pick it up a little bit and go through some graphics. So what you're seeing up on the slide right now is a bird's eye view. This was generated by Mosley. This is one of their 3D renderings. So this is taken from the northwest corner of the site, looking back to the parking lot that you see in the distance. That's really the footprint of where we are right now. That's this far southeast corner of the site. So you're looking at the new bus loop, which is in the back, looking towards the 3-story classroom wing on the far side over by the Fox Chase Apartments, and of course the new fields. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through 5 slides of the last 5 months that, from the same vantage point, that shows where we've come since we met with everybody last November. So it's a little dark, but this is, again, the same shot, so you can see where that parking lot was. You can see the rooftop of the existing school that we're in now. So at this point, we hadn't really started anything other than foundations. You can see some of the trenches in the ground where the foundations have started. We had done the retaining walls, and we had stripped the site, so it was nothing but dirt at that point. So that was November. Here is December. January, you can start to see us coming out of the ground a little bit. You can see we started swinging structural steel back at the 3-story classroom area. February, we started our load-bearing walls. So there's load-bearing masonry. So what you're seeing in the foreground here is the flex court for the rec center. And then right next to it, is, which hasn't started coming up yet, is going to be the gymnasium for the school. So you're going to see these high 1.5-story masonry areas for the 2 gymnasium spaces and the classrooms in the back. And then this is just taken a few days ago, so this is where we are right now. So the flex court is almost up to the topped out with the brick, or excuse me, the block. The 3-story classroom wing, we have both stair towers and the elevator tower in there. We have all floors framed out, and we're putting deck on all of them right now. So we're going to start coming from that northeast corner and starting to work this way to marry up where we are with the flex court and the gymnasium. This is another view from Mosley. This is looking from the south towards back at the main entrance of the school, just to reorient you guys who are not as familiar with the project. So you're seeing the 3-story classroom wing to the east, the main entrance for the school in the middle, main entrance for the rec center towards the left, towards Latham Street, of course, then the new field. I'm going to play an animation for you now. This is our Ox Blue job site camera, and so this will take you from November to today. And a time-lapse photography. So you're going to see how we had a couple of snowfalls in here since November. Day, night, you'll see the site turn white with blankets of snow and then go away. But you'll start to see the structural steel come up on the east side in front of the retaining wall. There's the crane. Steel comes next. You'll see the gymnasium go up, and that just is a real quick time-lapse flip book of where we have come. So there we are. And we'll continue to show you that as we go along for the future community meetings. So right now, I'm going to show you some very technical, detailed construction photos, and not to bore everyone, I'll go through them rather quickly. But this is a chance for you guys to see some of the things that don't necessarily pertain to what's in the school, as the finished spaces, but it'll show you what's behind the walls, what's underneath the slab, what's underneath the structure, if you're interested. So what you're looking at here is foundation. So there's a lot of the school that is below the slab. So that's the foundations, it's the structures, what holds the school up. It's also utilities. So you'll see some of the piping and electrical conduits here as well. So again, foundations, foundation block. This is the elevator pit, so this is what your elevator looks like without an elevator there yet. These are slab preps. So you're going to see a lot of these pictures. So the yellow surface you see there is a vapor barrier. It's called Stego wrap. And so that goes down before we put any kind of a floor slab down. The reinforcing you see there, there's chairs and welded wire fabric. That's the structure that holds the slabs on grade together. The white post pipes that you see there is a plumbing pipe that's coming out below slab. Off in the distance there, just to get yourself oriented, is our retaining wall in the back of the hillside, and you can see the Stone Strong retaining wall over there to the east. These pictures are really dark, I guess, on the with the lights here. But this is a concrete pump truck. These are some of our initial slab pours from last November. These are guys putting in the slab on grade. You're going to see the yellow vapor retarder I was showing you get covered up. Then they have finishing crews come out, and this is what we're talking about. The slab pours normally start first thing in the morning, and then these guys pour enough concrete where they're there all day, and the concrete has to set up, and then they have to finish it. And that's why you'll see those. Any day we have a concrete pour, you'll see a lot of concrete trucks. Those are very late days for us. Again, this is your first floor slab over in the 3-story classroom wing. We now have structural steel on that, so you'll see that develop. So here we are with all the slabs poured in the 3-story classroom area. This is electrical conduit. So this is coming out of the 3-story classroom area towards the admin area and over towards the cafetorium. And you'll see just how much electrical conduit we have running through this building. So you don't always get to see that, so I just thought I would illustrate that to you. This is a view taken from the 3rd-story classroom area over the site. So we're up on the 3rd floor looking out towards the flex court and the gymnasium. You just see how big the school is. This is the flex court going up. So these are masons working on scaffolding. This is one of the stair towers. This is stair tower 1, which is in the 3-story classroom area. So the stair is not in it in this picture, but you can see how quickly we put up the masonry, and then we put metal stairs in there. This is just a foundation. This is what columns sit on. So a lot of the columns you're not going to see on this job because they're concealed inside of the walls. But that's a base plate, and the crane will set steel on that base plate. Again, this is a view of the structural steel. This is metal deck, so this is the concrete crew working up there getting prepped for a concrete pour up on the 2nd floor. Structural steel. And then the 3rd-story classroom area is starting to look like a building. So some of these pictures should show you, this is the main corridor. So this is your main hallway on the 1st floor of that classroom area, and these are classrooms flanking it on the left and right. And again, I'm sorry that's so dark, but that's the... here's this is the flex court, so you can start to see it start to look, as the walls go up, it starts to look like a building. And again, concrete pours and view across the site, and then our video again. So I'll run through this again. Just a quick update though, as far as what we have left. We're hoping to have all of the floor slabs poured out by the end of March. You'll see a lot more walls start going up after that. And then we should be completely weathered in or dried in by August. So after August, we're doing nothing but finishes on the inside of the building. Well, yeah, for the new building, of course. Then everything after December is the next chapter in phase 3. So I'll just let that run. That's all I had. We can turn it over for questions at this point. I can answer some, or
Yeah, I
you guys
can move
answer
around with the mic if anyone has questions.
Michael, Mr. Doney.
So thanks for all that. Phase 3 is a curious time. When the school's open, I have a very specific question about traffic management. Once the school's operational, we know the bus loop will be open, so got that. What's the concept for getting the parent drop-off going on? It's going to have to use adjacent streets, I assume. Has any work been done to evaluate that?
That's part of your construction traffic plan. I'll let you speak to that.
The answer I can give you is there's a plan. It's all been written out. It was approved as part of that final site plan process in January. I believe you're right. I think the parent drop-off utilizes the new bus loop and therefore has to come up Latham Street. But honestly, it's been a little while, so I'd have to go back and refresh my memory a little bit. But we'll go back digging through and confirm that for you.
That'd be one I'd appreciate if you would, the TMP in particular, if you could make that available for the community to review, because that's been a bit of a hot button issue. And it has been since inception, and it will be once it's open.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I want to say, again, we're going back months here. I thought we talked about that in a community meeting, going back 6-9 months before it was submitted. But I think you raise a good point. I think making it available would certainly be a good thing. So I don't see an issue with doing that.
Yeah, we fumbled on this topic at the November meeting a little bit. I think it's time to air it out. And I know I'd want to share that with all the adjacent homeowners, et cetera. Second question, if y'all don't mind. Has anything changed from concept submission to final site plan approval? Anything on the exterior has been iterated in any way that we were not aware of?
No, I mean, obviously when you go to final plan, it's all about like the fine-tooth details, and so specifications on playground equipment and things like that. But I mean, the locations of where the play areas are, and everything that would have really been talked through during that city council meeting back, December of 2016. No, nothing has changed since then.
Okay.
Other questions? Richard, do you want to do a little closing?
Yeah, well, no, I hope, given what you've seen here today, gives you a sense of where we are. I think the project, as you know, there's more planning than there is construction. This project has a history to it that goes back to 14, but now that we're actually in construction, you can start to visualize all the work that took place here. The board support, along with the community support, got us to where we are right now. I think our next meeting, do we have a timeline for our next meeting? Do we know?
3 months.
3 months from now. I think, yeah, in our DSUP engagement, we do try to be 3 to 4 months having another follow-up meeting, and by then I think you'll see more, as what Dave Tremblay mentioned in his efforts of constructing this building. And then I think maybe we can talk more about phase 3. I think the question there earlier did have a good, I think a piece we need to come back with to explain, given how all that circulation will occur. And I think even we can probably start to visualize that phase 3 and talk more about the transition from the old school into the new school. Because the old school will still be in here for a little bit until we can get everybody over, and then we start demoing this. So we will probably talk more about some of that effort as well. Obviously, RPCA being here, I think knowing that program is also in the same timeline. So I don't want to not have them mentioned. They're in the same timeline we are. The moment we open up, they open up. So I think in that next meeting, we could talk more about their opening up as well in this. So I think in our efforts, we do have several web pages. I know Keller has one. Obviously, ACPS has one. And I use them. They do give you a lot of information. They do tell you. Even our time lapse is online. I think you can see that as well, and keeping track with this project. It's still got a little ways to go, but we're pleased. We're pleased with the community also helping us with it. So we'll keep this going in a direction that next year we're in this building. And then we start to figure out what to do with this one. So again, thank you for coming. And again, anytime you got questions, let us know.